when looking at the income that the charity was receiving from local authority for a time there, I genuinely didn't know how we were going to provide an uplift, a pay award for our staff after everything that they've done without impacting on the quality of the support we're providing. And neither option was one that I wanted to go down. So very briefly, Autism at Kingwood is a charity supporting autistic adults across the Thames Valley. And as a charity, we don't have directors or anybody in the background taking dividends or large bonuses, but we do need to operate as a financially sound and viable business. We have 300 employees and we provide services to 150 autistic people. So it's absolutely paramount that we operate financially. And I was stuck in that dilemma of, for me, the dilemma was how could we not provide a salary uplift? And the government funding that we receive is the building block really for determining the social care pay, and it identifies the level of income that we get. And as the slide shows here, we provide a way of breaking down the hourly rates that we receive and displaying them really transparently, how every penny goes through and how it's accounted for. And this was the decision that I came to last year. The only way that I was going to be able to try and do something to demonstrate to our employees who had worked tirelessly and to our commissioners that we weren't getting sufficient funding was to be really transparent about the hourly rates that we receive and where that goes. So you'll see from this slide at the bottom there on the left hand side, we have rates between £16.39 and £18.40 an hour. That's the income that we get from a number of local authorities to provide 1 hour of support to an autistic person. You'll also see from looking at that slide, that breakdown, that £13.56 of that goes directly on the employee costs. So that's £8.91 on the core hourly rate, and then you have the national insurance, the tax, the pensions and the like, the things that allow us to provide occupational sick pay, and that contribution, that comes to £13.56. So that only then leaves that small amount per hour that has to pay for all the other aspects, all the core costs, the maybe not so exciting things. And hopefully I don't have any of my finance or HR department here, but the HR bit, the finance bit, the office bit, but also the management aspects, the benefits and the support that Beth has mentioned has been so critical for her throughout the last year. So when you add all of that up, the hourly rate that we actually need to get in is £18.93. And that is the basic rate that we need to get to pay the minimum wage. So that's the national minimum wage. And I think everybody would agree that the 1.5 million social care and support workers deserve more than the national minimum wage. And so what we wanted to do was to focus on the real living wage. And that's a really good solid foundation. It's based on calculations that determine what a real cost of living is. And Sarah later will go on to elaborate further on that. But if you look to the other side then of the screen, you'll see that in order to pay the real living wage, so that extra small amount per hour of £9.50, as an organisation, the tax and the insurance goes up. And the other elements, even if they were to remain the same, would then mean that I should be getting in £20.78 per hour, and we weren't. The hourly rates that we're getting are £16.39 to £18.40. Now, this isn't a unique position for autism at Kingwood. This is exactly the same situation that a number of other responsible social care providers are in across the country. And moving on from that financial breaking point, that was then what took me to the moral breaking point, because pay and conditions for those working in frontline social care continue to be less favourable than other sectors, and we've heard about hourly rate differences and sickness entitlements, and there are very few other benefits that we get and that we're able to provide. So I hear a lot that there's a recognition of the value for social care, but though we're hearing it, we're still not quite seeing it. And I think, just touching briefly, and I won't be distracted too much, but recognising yesterday in the statement by the Prime Minister that he needed to use the NHS to explain and justify the new levy, for me, the statement was called a social care statement, and yet it was still far too heavily led by the NHS as the priority. Social care is contributing £41 billion to the English economy, and it deserves parity with the NHS, and the social care support and care workers deserve parity with the NHS. We've got vacancy levels across the sector. At the end of the last year, they were sitting at about 7.3%. So that's 100,000 vacancies within the social care sector. And at the very time when we need to be attracting people to join the sector, we're losing employees. A recent report by Community Integrated Care suggested that 34% of the workforce left the market and are leaving the market every year. There's an incredible number of skilled, highly professional, trained and caring individuals that we're losing in addition to that vacancy. So myself, as the Chief Executive of Autism at Kingwood initially, and then other support providers and other organisations across the whole sector agreed that we would come together and that we would do what we could, whatever that may be, to create and drive the Better Pay for Social Care campaign. And it's calling on government to really reform social care funding so that providers can be enabled through the funding we get from central government to local authority and to us to pay that real living wage. It centres around a petition that we are taking to Treasury on the 21st of September. So the more signatures we can get on that petition, the more weight that petition will carry, the louder our voice will be, and then that hopefully that the chances of us getting heard will be even better.